Hello everyone, today is 16th of August, now it's 9:30 in the morning Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is my first update for the day in which I'll share all the main news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. Second update will be during the live stream about 5 o'clock this evening Moscow time, and I hope you will manage to join the stream. Of course, I will inform you about stream some 30 minutes before it starts by posting about it on my Telegram channel and community page on YouTube. That's been said, let's talk about news now. And first of all, I want to share with you this report from RT. I spoke about this topic yesterday, but I think it's worth to be noticed once again against whom we are fighting. So a video is circulating in the social media showing Ukrainian armed forces soldiers wearing Nazi-style helmets and are harassing elderly villager in what appears to be Russia's Kursk region, where Kyiv has been conducting cross-border assault over the past week. The video is believed to have been filmed by the soldiers themselves, which is correct. They are filming themselves, and I will let you judge, by the way, about this video by yourself.
О, русский Иван, русский Иван, эй, русский Иван, как жизнь, русский Иван, купец.
Я заблудился, я вот уже 5 дней такой вот мне, вчера коттедж распал.
Вы по жизни заблудились, куда пошли, нет куда, видишь?
Ну не все,
Иван, вот он, Иван.
не все, ну мне 74 года. Ёлки-палки, я из-за мужа.
Ja. Du bist russische Schweine. Ja. Иди, пей водка. Водка. Ja. Schnaps. Schnaps, gut. Gut, Schnaps. Вот, вот он, настоящий русский.
So here you hear yourself and you see yourself this video, and this is face of the Kyiv regime, by the way, and this is the face of the modern collective West, I will say, because unfortunately vast majority of collective West countries and vast majority of societies of the collective West countries are supporting this type of elements: Nazis, terrorists, mass murderers. And I wonder what has happened to societies in the West, what propaganda of the Western ruling class done to them, that they don't feel embarrassed to be in support of this type of individuals that are openly demonstrating their Nazi ideology, and they're openly wearing Nazi helmets with the Nazi symbolic on it. Modern Western world is truly in a sad place right now, in a dark place, I will say. Thanks God, not everybody is blind to this in the West, and there are many people that are well informed and are opposing their own government's policies that are in support of Nazi and terrorist regime in Kyiv. But again, unfortunately, vast majority of the societies are under influence of propaganda, or God knows, man, maybe they are Nazis and they're That's why they are supporting Ukrainian Nazis. I don't know. You tell me what has happened to Western societies, man. But this is who they are supporting, by the way. Vzglyad newspaper is reporting, and I spoke about this topic also yesterday, but it is important, I believe, to highlight once again that Ukrainian armed forces, so-called Ukrainian armed forces, are deploying Challenger 2 tanks into battlefield in the Kursk region. And I saw yesterday some report on one of the British TV stations, and two hosts were quite proud. If we judge by their attitude, they were quite proud, kind of, that Challenger 2 tanks were deployed onto Russian soil. Which is yet again, I mean, I wonder in which place those people are. It must be dark there, very dark. So yes, Challenger 2 tanks, UK-made Challenger 2 tanks are deployed into battlefield in the Kursk region. And one tank already been destroyed. Yesterday I shared video of that on my Telegram channel. If you have not seen, you can check that video. And I guess number of other Challenger 2 tanks also will be destroyed if London will not order Kiev regime to withdraw those Challenger tanks from the battlefield, as it happened during this so-called 2023 counteroffensive of the Kiev regime, when in Zaporozhye region it was, I believe, Russian troops destroy first Challenger 2 tank, and straight away London demanded those tanks to be withdrawn from their line of contact. Overall, 14 Challenger 2 tanks were transferred to Kiev regime. Two are destroyed, documented destruction. And from another 12, I guess at least 7 or 8 are probably operational and are deployed into Kursk region. So in upcoming days, we should expect more Challenger 2 tanks to be destroyed. RIA Novosti is also reporting that Russian armed forces with their long-range precise strike with the Iskander missile destroyed the US-made HIMARS multi-launch rocket system that was firing its long-range missiles towards Kursk region. And if you remember, some time ago, there was reports that Russian Foreign Ministry summoned the US ambassador, and some strong warnings were given about possible Russian response if US-made long-range weapon systems will be used to strike deep inside the Russian territory. And well, it is happening now. This HIMARS was targeting Russia's Kursk region, and let's see how will Moscow respond on that. Yes, HIMARS was destroyed, but many people worldwide probably are expecting some decisive actions to be taken if warning was really given. Yet again, I was not in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs when this US ambassador was summoned. I was not in Russia's foreign ministry when French or British foreign ministers were summoned and given their similar warning about strikes deep inside Russian territory with their Scalp EG and Storm Shadow long-range cruise missiles that these countries transferred to Kiev regime, formerly Kiev regime, but in reality we all know that all these long-range systems are operated by NATO troops. So therefore I cannot know what kind of response Moscow will have, but I guess expectations are that something has to be done about it. Anyways, let's continue. TASS News Agency is reporting about Russian Defense Ministry's update on the Kursk region, on this Kursk salient. And well, this is yesterday's report. This information is for 15th of August. And of course, today, Defense Ministry will most likely update this information. Although Yesterday, Defense Ministry claimed that during the previous 24 hours, Kyiv regime lost about 340 military personnel in the Kursk region and 19 pieces of different type of armored vehicles, including 5 Bradley infantry fighting vehicles, which is also US made. And initially there was these statements, isn't it, from the Washington that US military equipment will not be used to inside Russia, but everyone forgot about it, seems like. Overall, according to Russian Defense Ministry, Kyiv regime lost 2,600 military personnel since the beginning of Kursk incursion, and a few hundred, about 300 basically at this point, different type of military vehicles. Okay. I think personally that these numbers are a bit conservative. I think the regime already lost about 4,000 or 5,000 military personnel in the Kursk salient area, but Russian Defense Ministry, being conservative institution, shares only this number. Anyways, RIA Novosti is reporting that Russian armed forces liberated. And by the way, when it comes to Kursk salient, situation is under operational control of Russian troops. Yesterday, reports came in that several settlements already been liberated from Kyiv regime's invading forces, and I guess despite the attempts of these mobile armored groups of Ukrainian terrorists to further advance in whatever direction, despite all those attempts, seems like in general this invading force of Kyiv regime has run out of steam. And if that's the case, then most likely we will see now opposite movement when Russian forces are moving forward and they're establishing control or liberating more and more settlements that was shortly occupied by Kyiv regime. Time will tell. Let's see. RIA Novosti's report that Russian armed forces established control over the Ivanovka settlement in a DPR. This information confirmed by Russian Defense Ministry, although we have additional reports, not from Defense Ministry, but from independent sources, that not just Ivanovka, but few other settlements also are under Russian control now in Pokrovsk sector, which used to be Avdiivka sector a little while ago. And for example, Ivanovka is here, by the way. This is Ivanovka settlement. And we also have reports that Russian troops established control over the Novotoretskaya settlement. Russian troops entered Grodovka settlement, quite a large settlement. Russian troops established control over the Zhuravka settlement. I spoke about it yesterday. And Russian troops established control over the Nikolaevka settlement. So progress of Russian troops in Pokrovsk direction is speeding up, it seems like. And right now, distance between forward positions of the Russian armed forces and Pokrovsk is about 10-15 kilometers. And well, local administration of the Pokrovsk, Kyiv's administration, local Nazi administration in Pokrovsk basically, is made a statement yesterday about evacuation from the city and surrounding areas, which yet again confirms that Russian troops are on in a close proximity from the Pokrovsk. And for example, head of this Ukrainian Nazi administration of the Pokrovsk, Sergei Dobryak, stated that evacuation is underway, and he also stated that Russian troops are about 15 kilometers away from the city. I shared video of his statements on my Telegram yesterday. If you want, you can check that also. And it is obvious, by the way, that Russian troops are very close to Pokrovsk. As you can see, distance is once Russian troops will establish control over the Krutoy Yar, Krasny Yar and Nikolaevka, then it's a straight line. It's a straight line towards Pokrovsk. Although, question is now, will Russian troops continue further advances towards Pokrovsk, or Russian troops will try to neutralize this bulge that created on the line of contact as a result of Russian advances, significant advances in Pokrovsk direction. Maybe we will see in upcoming days activization of Russian troops from Grigorievka area, from Marinka Grigorievka area towards Nikolaevka settlement, so that entire this bulge will be cut off from Kiev controlled territory and liberated from Ukrainian Nazis and the terrorists. Although we might see simultaneous operations, Russian troops have enough forces to conduct simultaneous operations to neutralize this bulge, and same time to continue advances towards Pokrovsk. Only time will tell. And while I'm operating with the map, let me also share with you information that more and more confirmations are coming in that New York basically is under Russian control. There might be small groups of Kiev regime's forces that are hiding somewhere in New York vicinity, but in general, New York City is under full Russian control. Kiev regime's defense lines completely collapsed in this area, and I guess next step, as I said yesterday, is Nilepovka settlement, and after that, of course, Toretsk. Russian troops established control over the Artyomova settlement also on the southern eastern side of Toretsk, and I guess this is on this direction. Of course, Toretsk is about to become a main hotspot on a line of contact. Give it another week, and Russian troops, not just DRGs, but Russian troops will be in Toretsk itself. That being said, let's continue with some other news, and we have RT's report that Biden open to supplying Ukraine with long-range missiles. The White House is open to sending long-range cruise missiles to Ukraine, which could give previously transferred F-16 jets greater combat ability in its conflict with Russia, Politico reported on Thursday, citing officials in the Biden's administration. The unnamed officials reportedly told their outlet that the final decision has been made on sending the Joint Air-to-Surface Standoff Missiles, JASSM, but the Pentagon is currently working through their complicated details. Those issues reportedly include reviews of the transfer of the sensitive technologies and ensuring Ukraine's jets can launch their 2,400-pound missiles, which carries a 1,000-pound warhead. Well, if Politico is reporting that Biden's administration already made the decision to transfer these missiles to Kiev regime, most likely these missiles are already delivered to Ukraine, to US military personnel that is operating with all the US long-range weapon systems, including ATACMS, long-range missiles, and F-16s also, by the way. Of course, no one believes that F-16s will be operated by Kiev regime's pilots. No one believes in that nonsense. And if it's true, then well, this is definitely next level of escalation from Biden's administration. I mean, you may ask what Moscow gonna do about it, and I can tell you that I don't know. I just don't know. I'm a bit frustrated, like many members of our community, with their extreme restraint with which Moscow is approaching certain topics. Because I know what I would do. And I can tell you, dear friends, on very first hour of the special military operation, I would make, if I was in charge, I will make an open statement that even if single bullet will cross Ukraine's border from NATO member states or any other country, I will nuke them. I will erase that country from the face of the earth with the nuclear weapons. That's what I will say on the very first hour of their special military operation. And I'm quite sure, dear friends, I'm 110% convinced that no country in this world will dare to check. Trust me. But yet again, I am a nobody, and decision-making process in hands of other people, and therefore it is what it is, man. I have no idea how Moscow is going to respond on this next level of escalation. I just don't know, man. It is at some point I had this understanding that it is good that Moscow is acting as adult, because someone has to be adult in the room. But I mean, at some point we have to acknowledge that enough is enough, and at some point we have to acknowledge that warnings and your restrained responses are not really affecting Western ruling class. They just don't care. Not about your warning, not about your cautiousness. They just don't care. And Western ruling class will continue to escalate and continue to kill thousands and thousands of Russian citizens as long as they are doing this with impunity. So therefore, I believe something has to change. But I mean, yet again, who am I, man? No one is asking me, right, what to do and how. So it is what it is, man. TASS news agency is reporting that, well, US will send an additional military aid package to Kyiv regime, according to MSNBC. This was stated by John Kirby, official representative of the White House. Okay, another military aid package with the most likely long-range missiles, including these ones, JASSM long-range cruise missiles. And as I said, these missiles will be delivered to Kyiv regime, or maybe already are delivered. Anyways, once Washington will make official announcement about it, those weapons definitely will be in Ukraine. 100%. TASS news agency is reporting that volume of funds that US Congress allocated for prolonging this proxy war against Russia has reached 174.19 billion US dollars. Quite significant, isn't it? And this is funds that Congress allocated, by the way. I mean, just from, and this is funds just from US. Overall, if you combine all the funds, all the weapons that were transferred to Kyiv regime by collective West to further continue this proxy war, to further prolong this proxy war against Russia, overall number is more than 300 billion at this point, for sure. RIA Novosti is reporting that overnight 5 Ukrainian drones were intercepted over the Black Sea, and also 2 naval drones. No reports about any casualties or damage. RIA Novosti is also reporting that administration of Duda, president of Poland, denied the claims in the media that Poland was in any way involved in the destruction of the Nord Stream pipelines. Okay, what else Warsaw will do? And by the way, it's not just Warsaw, but also Zelensky's regime is denying these claims of Wall Street Journal that Zelensky and Zaluzhny, Kyiv regime basically was not just involved, but basically carried out that terrorist attack on Nord Stream pipelines. Kyiv had nothing to do with the sabotage of the Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines. Mikhail Podolyak, the top advisor to Ukrainian leader Vladimir Zelensky, has stated, no one expected any other reaction. obviously, although all that story, by the way, all that story in Wall Street Journal is of course yet another attempt of cover up of the US and Norway's involvement in this terrorist attack on Nord Stream pipelines. It is just too obvious. Of course, this attack was carried out by CIA and the Pentagon with their participation of Norwegian side. Seymour Hersh reported about it quite a while ago, and of course this US journalist, award-winning journalist, has much more credibility than and reputation that all these so-called elites in the West combined. TASS news agency is also reporting about new military aid package that the Kyiv regime will receive from Germany. It is interesting, isn't it, that yesterday, this story broke up on Wall Street Journal that basically directly blames Kyiv regime for targeting Germany's strategical energy infrastructure, because people are forgetting that Nord Stream pipeline was not just a Russian project, it was Germany's project. Well, this information became available yesterday, and the very same day, this information also broke that Germany will send about 30 tanks, Leopard 1 A5 tanks to Kyiv regime. Also, 2 Iris-T SLM and Iris-T TSLS air defense systems. Overall, according to some reports, 4 Iris-T air defense systems will be transferred to Kyiv regime. Some 400 armored vehicles, MRAP-type armored vehicles, 12 self-prepared artillery guns, 4 Susanna, 2 artillery guns, and also RSH 155 artillery systems. So plenty of weapons, by the way. Current government of Germany is quite effectively demilitarizing that country. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Germany is occupied country, and German government, formally German government, in reality is represents occupying regime or Washington. RIA Novosti is reporting that in Irkutsk region, unfortunately, Russian Tu-22M3 long-range bomber crashed. Video is available of that crash. I shared that video on my Telegram also. And 4 crew members managed to successfully managed to eject from the plane. That caught fire, by the way. Probably there were some issues with the engine or something. Although, of course, investigation will find out. But main point is that 4 pilots managed to eject safely, and their lives are not in danger. And before I continue, let me notice, if I may, that this small media project of mine with several channels on YouTube, Rumble, Telegram is completely subscriber funded, and if you like what you see, if you think it is necessary Russian channels to exist on this field of news and political commentary, please consider to support my work with small donations through PayPal, Boosty. This is Boosty platform, by the way, from which you can send a tip or donation, or you can also subscribe, because I have plenty of bonus videos here for subscribers. And of course, you can subscribe to my Patreon page, which is much more developed than Boosty, because I start operating on Patreon much earlier. And yes, subscription on Patreon starts from $5 a month, and I can tell you that from September, by the way, I will have a much more content on Patreon than previously. I have at least several additional programs that I want to add to my Patreon page, and also a Boosty page, and hopefully communities will find it interesting. It's gonna be informative and entertaining simultaneously. So yes, that's been said. By the way, I will continue now. All the links to my PayPal, Boosty, Patreon are on this video in description box and in the pinned comment. And dear friends, if you can, please watch my videos on Rumble, if it's not too difficult, because my channel on YouTube is not monetized and will never be monetized, while my channel on Rumble is monetized. And if I had some similar views, for example, similar to YouTube views on Rumble, that would be quite support for this project, really, in term, you know. So if you can, please subscribe to my Rumble channel and watch my videos there. Link to my Rumble channel is under this video in the description box also, and in the pinned comment. That's been said, let's continue with some more news. Interfax is reporting that negotiations in Doha, capital of Qatar, will continue today on a topic of ceasefire between Israel and Palestine. And Doha, by the way, leadership of Qatar asked Iran not to conduct any retaliatory strikes on Israel, at least before negotiations are taking place in this country. Let's hope sides will, you know, let's hope these negotiations will be effective, and hostilities will die down in the region. That would be a best outcome. Of course, although many people worldwide probably are skeptical that Netanyahu's government is really intense to de-escalate. I am also skeptical on that matter. TASS news agency is also reporting that US and UK conducted another strikes on Houthi rebels in El Hodeida province of the Yemen. Okay, I guess Houthi rebels will retaliate swiftly, because we all know that despite these military actions of the UK and the US against Ansar Allah movement or Houthi rebels, strikes on merchant ships, commercial vessels that are linked one way or another to US, UK, a number of EU member states, and first of all Israel. Those strikes did not end, and on regular basis we are receiving information about ships being damaged. And Houthi rebels are conducting these strikes to impose some sort of embargo on Israel, and they said once Israel will stop its hostilities against Palestine, Houthi Ansar Allah movement will also stop its operations against Israeli link vessels. TASS news agency is reporting that, well, according to Washington Post, by the way, and you be judge how correct this information is or assumption from Washington Post, but this propaganda outlet from the US is claiming that Kamala Harris gained popularity since Biden withdrew from the presidential race, and she's kind of favorite in the presidential race now. This is the second time in last couple of weeks when I see Western media outlets, first of all US media outlets, are trying to push this narrative that Kamala Harris is a favorite and has more support. I believe this is speculation, because I really cannot understand how majority of citizens of US can support continuation of the Biden's administration. And that's exactly what Kamala Harris's presidency gonna be, isn't it? She would not make no decisions on any of the crucial topics because she has no idea about anything, right? I'm struggling to understand how she was a prosecutor in California. It was California, isn't it, or somewhere? She was a prosecutor, for God's sake, man. How that even possible? Yes, I guess this is a pure example how propaganda is shaping up narratives, by the way. This type of articles that Kamala Harris is leading, Kamala Harris is a favorite. Look at this, there was some poll made that Kamala Harris is on top and that kind of stuff. And people are believing in this nonsense. You know, people are believing in this, and this might have significant influence on election results because, for example, if Republican voters, for example, are convinced that Kamala Harris is winning, then a significant number of them may not go to the polls to vote, and Kamala Harris will win. So it's a whole technology, by the way, how to manipulate with the people. And I mean, U.S. propaganda outlets, U.S. Secret Services, they are experts in that. They conducted so many that kind of psyops worldwide. Then I mean, no one is more experienced than them, I guess. But yet again, you told me, dear friends, if you really believed this information from Washington Post that Kamala Harris is a favorite. I cannot believe in this. Although I understand perfectly well that for Russia, for example, it don't really make any difference which one is the president, Kamala Harris, Trump, or whoever, man. Because we all know the decision-making process in reality depends not on the presidents, but on the deep state, on a military-industrial complex, on multinational corporations, and that kind of stuff. Presidents are just, figures for show, for political show. And the last 4 years of Biden's administration clearly demonstrated that. Clearly, because, I mean, come on, man, if you believe Biden was making any decisions at all, then I don't know, man. I have a mountain to sell you. RT is reporting that Russian fuel supplies via Africa hit record heights, according to data. So, seaborne Russian exports of oil products to Asia via South African Cape of Good Hope almost doubled in monthly terms in July to a record high of 1.1 million metric tons, Reuters reported on Tuesday, citing shipping data. Major global shipping companies have stopped using their vital Suez Channel and have instead redirected ships around the southern tip of the Africa due to attacks by Houthi rebels on vessels in the Red Sea. Market sources and shipping data reportedly showed that the bulk of Russian exports via the new route were naphtha at 0.83 million tons, fuel oil cargoes loaded at the Russian Baltic ports of Ust-Lug and Vysotsk, and low sulfur diesel from Primorsk have also been delivered via the Cape of Good Hope. The Russian oil products exports were destined for Singapore, Taiwan, India, and China, according to LSEG data. Okay. Well, Suez Channel is definitely experiencing shortages of vessels. First time in a long time due to actions of the Ansar Allah movement of Yemen, obviously. And Egypt, by the way, is losing big time. Egypt, financially speaking, Egypt is of course losing big time. But yet again, I don't think Cairo has any means to influence actions of the Ansar Allah movement, or Houthi rebels as they also are known worldwide. Vzglyad newspaper is reporting that Bangladesh's new government is recalling ambassador from Russia and also a number of other countries, including Germany, Maldives, UAE, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, US, and Japan. Well, new ambassadors probably will be appointed, and well, yesterday I read an article that the new Bangladeshi government is intent to continue cooperation with Russia in all directions, including in terms of nuclear technologies, and a new government poses no threat, according to reports. Our new government is not intent to stop building a nuclear power station in the country that is built by Rosatom, by Russia. But yet again, because according to reports that I see, this new Bangladeshi government is going to be a client of client state. Bangladesh is gonna transform into client state of US and partially Pakistan. Because of this, I guess there will be no Russian nuclear power plant in Bangladesh. And if it was up to me, decision-making process, I will stop building. Even if Bangladeshi new government wants to build nuclear power plant, I will say no. You know what? You are burning Indian people alive just because of their religion, and that there was many cases, by the way, in Bangladesh when this crazy mob of radicals, extremists, and the terrorists burn alive, by the way, Hindus. I don't think Moscow should cooperate with such a Bangladesh at all, in any way, shape, or form, man. No, stay away from those Nazi mass murderers, man, or religious extremists, man. Let's see what decision-making process will be, but I would like Moscow to stay away from those despicable individuals that gain power in Bangladesh right now. RT is reporting that Serbia will never impose sanctions on Russia. So, okay, great news. Serbia will never impose sanctions on Russia despite massive pressure from the EU, according to Nenander Popovic, the minister overseeing Belgrade's international economic cooperation. Popovic clarified that Brussels has demanded that if Belgrade wants to join the EU, it should take it should basically adapt EU's sanctions, EU's policies towards Moscow. And well, this is interesting news, important news, because just recently there was a news information was published in Russian media that Serbia may be forced under pressure of Brussels to impose some sanctions on Russia. And I believe President of Serbia, Vučić, even said that he will resign if that will happen, or he might consider to resign if his government will impose sanctions on Russia. I understand Serbia's current government is under heavy pressure, but after all, for God's sake, why you need to join EU, man? Or NATO? These terrorist organizations. Why Serbia needs to join these terrorist organizations, EU or NATO? What the hell, man? Tell Brussels to F off, you know? To go and F themselves, those bitches, man. What you are talking about? What EU, man? You want to join terrorists? You want to join, or what, NATO? You want to join terrorists that kill your fellow citizens? Come on, though. You cannot consider that seriously, man. This is nonsense, absolute nonsense. But anyways, this news is definitely a good one, definitely a good one. And on far away, Belgrade will stay away from Brussels. Better for Serbia, I believe, because yet again, Brussels bureaucracy is despicable people, despicable individuals, puppets of their Western ruling class. And I would not even shake hand with those dirty elements, man. Nothing to be said about cooperation. With whom, man? With those terrorists, mass murderers, and Nazi sympathizers? Really? Anyways, this is it for now. And hopefully you will find this update informative, dear friends. Plenty of news about developments worldwide. Plenty of news. And yes, if you like this video, please click that like button and leave some commentary. This is only way we can at least try to deal with the algorithm. As I said earlier, if you can, it's too late now. I should say it in the beginning of the video, but for the future, if you can, please watch my videos on Rumble. That will be helpful. And what else? If you want to support, you can do it. All the links are on this video in the description box and in the pinned comment. And finally, I have some surprise, dear friends. I have some surprise today, and I will really reveal that surprise during the stream. About 5 o'clock this afternoon Moscow time. So please don't forget about it and join the stream if you have time for that. I will inform you some 30 minutes before stream starts. Okay, this is it for now. Have a great day and great, wonderful upcoming weekend. Take care.